Hi there, everyone. I'm Candi,
And I'm Anne.
and this is Spirit Talks, getting to the heart of the matter. So, Anne and I, when we first got together, we just so enjoyed connecting on a spiritual level, talking about inner process, transformation, and we felt like we wanted to do this to just have the conversation because the connection and talking about what brings us joy just really was at the heart of both of our lives.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you want to say something about that?
I think one of our very first conversations, Candi, you said to me, what would be just your dream come true career? And I said, if I could talk about spirituality, not religious or dogmatic spirituality necessarily, but that deep thing that resides within all of us, that knowing, that spark, that divinity, whatever you want to call it. If I could talk about that all the time, I feel like that would be the best thing ever. And so we decided we just talk about it.
And it's so true. I have to pinch myself sometimes and go, I love the conversation, and I love talking about and you said it, whatever you call it, but that ineffable, that intangible, unexplainable, unseen, mysterious presence, divine presence. So here we go. So in the shower today, the topic that popped in, and I'll give you some context about it, was obstacles and the obstacles and freedom to being ourselves. Seems such simple words, but challenging. And so we're going to touch on some of the highlights as when it came to me in the shower. Just the little context of this is that yesterday I was working with someone, and she felt like she shared a bit too much with a new friend, and felt badly about it. And what really came to me is about looking outside of ourselves for that love and approval and admiration and wanting to be desired. And lo and behold, in my meditation this morning, I went back to like 3 years old in this process and really made an apology to my own self for doing that. That I thinking I should be somebody else, be more. So it really hit me this morning that and I'm still feeling it. It's like it's all shifting inside of me, and this is part of that spiritual growth. This is part of that journey, and because it feels so powerful, that's why I wanted to share. So I am it really hit me of not defining ourselves, that I've always looked at defining myself. And so I'll let you jump in here in a second, but I was to tell people who are watching, I really said, hey, let's not say what we do, not say who we are, and see how that feels. It feels really uncomfortable.
Does.
And I want to turn it over to you to go, maybe to start off with what your experience is about the defining yourself, or what I've mentioned so far.
Yeah, thank you. What's resonating with me first and foremost is that most of my life, I felt like I needed to grab all the labels and have all the labels. So it started for me like college graduate from a Big Ten school, New York City advertising executive, accolade, mother, wife. Then what's the next thing? A really amazing organizer, whatever it might be, right? And some of the processes that I've done since, on this long spiritual journey and becoming a coach and all of that is stripping away. Like, so if I strip away my my identity as a wife and a mother and a daughter and a sister, my identity as a high level executive, my identity as someone who takes care of everything and all of that, and come down to who I really am at my core is pure love, and that's enough. And that's been a real big process for me, because my mind has been telling myself my whole life that I need to have all these labels to prove who I am to everyone around me.
Yeah.
And it feels like such a relief, but also really scary to strip all those labels away, to strip all that external need for external validation or proving oneself away, and just be enough for myself. And that's what I'm working on a lot lately.
Right. Me too. And I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think we all are. And as I look at creating programs, and we talked about creating programs, and I'm writing this book, and I'm like going through this huge transformational process, right? Of coming into, it's like, haven't I already arrived? But I haven't. It's like there's no arrival place, right? It's this continuous journey. And working with people at the end of life and that kind of thing, that you kind of see that transformation. You kind of, for me, I've kind of worked with patients and seen, like, what's the question? The question is, have I done enough? Have I been enough? Have I given enough? Have I loved enough? And being able to have that awareness. So, I mean, my hope would be that I would have it earlier and earlier in life, right? That I'm enough. And I was thinking about how that whole, I have so much education that I don't even know what to do with. I needed to go for those credentials. I needed to do it for whatever reason, in an attempt to prove it to myself. Maybe I was trying to prove it to my family, that I was enough, that I was smart enough, and I was, smart enough, powerful enough, whatever. And I have them, and I still go through this process. And I'm like, the reason I thought obstacles and freedom, because there's the obstacles are going through this vulnerability of being messy.
Yeah.
I'm messy. I don't know to be truthful, to be able to say, yeah, I see things that people post on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm enough just the way I am. And so part of that is that forgiveness towards myself, to go, ooh, wait a minute, come back to me. Come back to me, come back to the God, the source within me that says, I'm enough. And are those words that I hear inside enough? As I was wanting to go look for a quote for today's stuff, right?
Yeah, I love that. And that's one of the things I talk about with my clients so often, and then also work on with myself, because that's always how it is, right? All the things that I talk about are things that I also am always continuously working on. But I say, you're never going to get it done. Like it's going to, the finish line, the desire, the goal is always going to continue to change and evolve and grow, and right. So when you can accept that you're never going to get it done, you're never going to get there. When I think I've dealt with some childhood wound and worked on it and worked on it and worked on it, it'll show up in a new way that's ready to heal, right? But knowing that and accepting that takes pressure off, right? And it allows me to come back to now and say, like, I am so enough right now, and be in that presence, and then know that I'm going to change and grow and evolve, and my clients are going to change and grow and evolve and achieve their goals that they have now. And then they're going to shift and evolve, and new things are going to come up for us to work on. And I think that for me and for my clients, it takes a lot of pressure off when you acknowledge that you're never going to get it done, because you're always going to be changing and evolving. And so many people say, oh, when I am a multimillionaire, then I'll be happy. And then they become a multimillionaire and they see that either it's not how they thought it was, or they're not happy because they haven't been just going within and being okay with who they were before that, okay with all those circumstances that were their life before that, or healing things that needed to be healed before that, right? And
Mhm.
so I love that you saying, did I do enough? Did I get it done? I think so much of the work is just coming back to now and feeling
Mhm.
that contentment in who we are right now, and stripping away all the needs and desires and labels, and coming back to that inner knowing. And when you can do that, all the rest of everything else feels so much more exciting and better. And the more and more I do that for myself, the mundane of the days don't feel mundane to me. They
Sure.
feel exciting, and I can appreciate the smaller things in life more, if that makes sense.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm just taking it in. I'm just taking it in, and it's so true. It's I guess what just came up for me, two different things that being Jewish, so and observing Shabbat, and then the concept is that we it's the holy. It's that holy space of just pure love and light and sacred, right? And then taking it into the work week, which is supposedly the mundane. There's a separation between the sacred and the mundane, and so it's really embracing that and taking it in even
Mhm.
more to the sacred, to the holy space within. When I'm working with clients and before and when we begin, and it's like, step into that, come
Mhm.
into that heart space. That's your
Yes.
that sacred all-knowing space that's divine, that our creator made us breathe. We breathe in that breath every day, and it's like, why wouldn't that be enough? Like that place that in me that feels like I need to keep reaching
Mhm.
rather than trusting.
Yes.
Because the thing that I'm aware of, and I've seen it with this tremendous excavation process in in innards, my insides, in this book writing process. Like I never would have known what this was going to be like, and trusting, trusting while I've got three chapters going at the same time because they're different things, that it's going to come together. But
Mhm.
it's almost like um, mm, the storm has to happen, like things have to burst out, things have to open up. And in order for them to bloom, they
Yes.
have to open up. And I often kind of go, I don't know if often, but kind of thinking that little tight flower before it opens, is it stretching? What about the cocoon? Before the butterfly, when the butterfly's trying and pushing to try to get out of the cocoon. That's what it feels like, really. Oh, so, I love this because, and I love being able to be vulnerable with you and be vulnerable with all of you who, when we post this. But, I wanted to do this because I feel like, gosh, how many people are on this path thinking they're not doing enough?
Yeah. I think that I really want to share something that's been coming up so much. And I think, in this day and age where we are right now in 2021, I really have this strong feeling and knowing that humanity is shifting, right? And I think that one of the things, we talked about this validation piece, and
Mhm,
it's really this idea of like ego and brain and head, letting that lead or letting the heart lead, and
mhm,
the more we can understand and let this part of us be in the driver's seat,
mhm,
and know that our mind and our brain and our ego, they serve lots of amazing purposes. Don't get me wrong. But
mhm,
when you can get in touch with this, like you said. And even in the beginning of my sessions with my clients, we do breathing to
Mhm.
really connect and ground ourselves in and connect to our higher selves or whatever it is that we believe in. When we get into that space, that's where the magic happens, right? And even though there's an unfolding and there's sometimes pain and things that need to come up to be seen and looked at and
Sure.
healed and evolved and opened and transmuted, whatever, when you're there, it's just so magical. And then you can let this part sit in the passenger seat versus being in the driver's seat all the time. And I think that that is just such a huge knowing, and something that I'm working on for myself so much and with my clients so much. The more I can change the driver's seat to here, from here to here, I think that's where humanity is moving towards. And it's
Mhm.
uncomfortable for sure.
Mhm.
But when we can move, this is the driver's seat and this is the passenger. I think that that is this beautiful space where so much magic can happen.
That's beautiful. As we wrap up, I was just, I guess I'd say it a little different for me about alignment. There's a
Mhm.
place of like I'm merging
Mhm.
more. I had this illusion that in some way that I was separate, meaning separate from parts of myself, separate head and heart, like coming
Okay.
into alignment. I'm
Mhm.
thinking that yeah, so I hear what you're saying, and I totally agree, and yet I'm kind of bringing it in and going,
Mhm.
it feels more like for me, I feel like and it makes me breathe better.
Yeah.
Honestly, that alignment, like it's all within me. Um, that place of tuning in and tapping in. And
Mhm.
like you said of that, and I do that too, calling in the light with my clients as well, to kind of come into that holy space. and
I
and for people learning to know that holy space,
Mhm.
you know
Yeah, I love that. And I appreciate you saying that, because when me saying put it in the passenger seat may feel like pushing it away. And I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing, one of the biggest learnings that I've had this past year is we don't want to push it away. We want to give it love. We want to welcome it on the journey and give it compassion and love. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
appreciate
Mhm. Yeah. Ooh, that's just really hitting me big. So to recap on this, so the obstacles and freedom of being ourselves. How do we connect with ourselves? We come into alignment, we breathe, we connect with that source that's within us, being vulnerable, sometimes avoiding defining ourselves,
that. Mhm.
and being able to be vulnerable to come in to know who we really are. Um, Credentials are important, defining quotes, all that are important they have a benefit, they have their place, but they don't have to define us. That we are enough, we are good enough just the way we are.
In this now moment.
In this now moment, and may your healing continue. May you connect within yourself and with others. And join us another time with Spirit Talks, getting to the heart of the matter. If you want to know more about us, we will post opportunity for you to find that at the bottom of this. Please feel free to subscribe to either of our channels, send us comments, like, and any of that stuff. Anything you want to say to wrap up?
Thank you so much. Sending you all so much love, and you too, Candy.
And sending you love and all of you. Bye bye for now.
Bye.